Hello, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. This week's episode is entitled, I Am Astro-Thot.
Nice, Trevor.
Thanks, Daryl. PlayStation has found its new prospective mascot, and it is the DualSense, utilizing a stylishly dressed mini robot that believes in the power of nostalgia. This is profoundly expressed in the newest Astro Bot game that came out last month, as well as the demonstration of the controllers and system of the PS4 and PS5. So get your memory card ready, wrap up your controller cords, wipe off the disc, and brush off the dust from Old Faithful as we take a trip down memory lane and the future this week with Astro Bot. Well, boys,
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's like
I'm so excited about this episode.
For Trevor is like,
yeah, this is all Trevor.
Jordan played the game too. He beat it.
yeah, Jordan beat it too.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But the chat I know was like absolutely popping off for a bit there when you two were playing it and just losing your goddamn minds.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, we already know
Start us off. Tell, like, because.
Yeah.
What's the first taste of Astro Bot like that everyone had?
Just Astro's Playroom.
Yeah.
So pretty much Playroom is back. This is a extension of Astro's Playroom, sort of. You've got your ship, like it's just like the biggest like advertisement for PlayStation.
That's all it is.
Yeah. It's just like you're living in like this like space Russia of PlayStation, and you're just getting all of this like propaganda, just PlayStation propaganda is all this game is, but it's like in the most fun way. Okay. So like you start the game and you're flying through space on your PS5, of course, because it's a spaceship. Everyone's flying on different vehicles made up of different consoles and controllers.
Oh, nice.
It's then,
like the starting of Rock Band 2.
Yeah. And then I can't remember his name, but I have to look it up. Like I would say that's probably one of the few downfalls is like the alien is just sort of the bad guy. Like they could probably do a bit more with him. He wants to steal like the CPU from the PlayStation. You crash land, all the bots get scattered across the universe and all the PlayStation parts. And then you have to go on this journey to get them all back.
To go reclaim it all.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
It's a pretty cute start, and like it is a fun game. Like this is like for all the parents out there, like, you know, mid 30s, early 40s parents who are like, you know, I really want to get my kid to play a platformer. I want to go back and play like Super Mario 64 with my kid, but you don't have the system, or it just doesn't hold up, or it doesn't look as good as you remember it looking. Like this is that
definitely
game.
Some of that,
right? It looks outstanding. It's fun. It's simple. It's not overly complicated. It doesn't have to be. Like if you want to complete it. There are some harder levels, but the story's easy. It's beautiful. The haptics are back in full effect.
That was the one thing with like the Playroom. Yeah. I was like, okay, this really shows you like the haptics of the controller and like the dynamic of it and how much technology is actually just in the palms of your hands. That everyone could be utilizing more, but you know,
chooses not to.
They don't,
I don't know if it's programming or whatever, but Astro Bot stuff like always crushes that.
So do you have to blow on the controller? That's like my priority here.
Like 3 times.
And is it like soft or is it like gale force?
It doesn't matter. It's just like into the
I wants to know how hard he has to blow to win the game.
I think the first time I was actually probably talking to you guys on chat, and just me talking through the mic like did the thing I was supposed to do. Because later I was like, oh, why isn't this working? I was like, oh, I actually have to like make noise for this to work.
Oh, okay.
But the controller, it is annoying. Like the few times there are a lot of things where, you know, you gotta like, you get on like essentially like a gun, a controller that is a gun, and you have to spray water, shoot something. But the gyro in the controller is set to like dead flat.
Oh, yes.
And it's hard to find the limit sometimes. So there's a couple times I was like, can I turn this off? Like, I get why we're doing it, but can we turn this off? Made things like unnecessarily harder than it needed to be.
I get what you're going for, but let's move on.
But I don't want to.
Yeah. So there was a couple moments like that, but otherwise, like, the whole thing was just about, it's nostalgic. It's super fun. All the levels are just like whimsical. Jordan and I had a couple where we're just like, oh, like just like mind blowing. You're like so creative.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can get into different. So there's like Kratos and Aloy and Nathan Drake, correct?
Yeah.
Like what are the areas kind of tied to, or is it like the game opened as the plane crashed and you're just like going there? Like how are you meeting these sprites?
It's like going to different galaxies. It's almost like playing Super Mario Galaxy or like Super Mario Odyssey. So you'll go to a different galaxy, which will be a new boss fight. You'll end up getting a new part for the PlayStation to repair it. And then typically when you've beaten the boss, I think it's after you beat the boss, it opens up like a final level for that galaxy. And typically that final level is themed. So for like, Chef's Kiss.
Oh, the best ones in the whole game.
Easily. Yeah, hands down. So like you'll get the Kratos one, which everybody has seen. So you'll actually be able to hold the axe, and it even has like the recall ability from God of War, so you can throw the axe and recall it back.
Oh my
so
God.
like,
and there's like the ravens, like that's a trophy. There's the green ravens flying around, and you can pop them out of the and they remix the music from the game.
No.
So the coolest one is like the remixed version of the Uncharted theme song.
Super catchy.
Oh, so fucking catchy.
Hits you right in the PlayStation.
I was just having so much fun even talking about this.
Yes. But like the first one, like I laughed my ass off because the first galaxy is a essentially giant Donkey Kong boss. And then the final level, I believe, if I'm correct, on the first world is Ape Escape.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
So you go around, so you meet the Ape Escape guy, and then the challenge is you have to go around and catch all the monkeys for him. But otherwise, like in the world, it's just like any other game with like a collectible. You've got guys who are like hanging from a tree. They're hidden, or there's like some sort of thing you have to, discover, and then you just smack them, and then they kind of like come with you. It's kind of like sort of like the collecting of the stars in Super Mario 64.
Yeah, there's like a little animation, like when you catch.
Yeah, they get all. Yeah, and some of the levels are a bit more themed. You're like, okay, there's a lot of people in this level from, like, oh, this level's got the Ratchet and Clank people in it, or something like that. Not every character is like a cameo character. There's sometimes just like generic Astro Bots. But they're all great because they're all so fun.
Typically, each level will show you ahead of time, like, okay, there's 8 Astro Bots to find in this level. There's a warp thing to find, and then there's like one other like collectible thing.
The puzzle pieces.
The puzzle pieces. So like you could see all of that before you even start a level. And then the Astro Bot slots, there'll be like a little PlayStation icons above some of them. So it tells you like, okay, there's going to be 5 just like generic Astro Bot dudes that you got to get. But then there's 3 with these little icons. So it's like, okay, there's going to be 3 themed characters, whether they're PlayStation characters or they might, to Trevor's point, Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, the list goes on and on.
There's it's like playing a pub trivia game.
Yeah.
Oh. Like you're like, okay, who is that? Like, okay, so here's one for you, Daryl. They have one of the characters, because like there was a big thing. They didn't do any Final Fantasy characters, and I think that's just because they're still making games. But they did Dart from Legend of Dragoon.
No.
So you see that character, and you're like, wait, who's that guy? Or
Shut the fuck up.
They've got.
You have Daryl's attention now.
Yeah. Or they've got like a ton. Like they had the what are they? The Mudokon, the fucking aliens from Abe's Odyssey. Like from Oddworld. For a while, I was like, who are these like fish people? Like it drove me nuts.
Oh my God.
Until I finally figured it out.
Bro, I hope everyone's asking who Dart is, so they bring back Legend of Dragoon. Like, this is
who's that guy?
We need
Like, just everything, right? Like they've got like Parappa the Rapper in there.
yes.
Like,
Nice.
He was the other one I was going to ask if he's in.
Yeah.
he is, and I think one or two of the other like random characters from that game are as well, right? And then on top of that, you unlock these characters, and they all go back to like the center world, which is your hub, where the ship's it's crashed. You're fixing it. Once you've got enough bots, there are things around the world you can do by calling the bots to you. So you can make like a human, an Astro Bot bridge, or they're like little minions. They do stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the other things you get is there's like it was from the first one, from the demo, is they've got like the gotcha
pods
machine with like the balls. Okay. So you use your coins to just buy collectibles. And what it is they are collectibles that match to your characters that you've unlocked. So for like Ratchet and Clank, you get like Clank, or I'm trying to remember what some of them are. Like you get like Ellie's guitar from The Last of Us.
Oh, sweet.
And what it does is it gives them that item in the home world, and then now you can interact with them and they do something with it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's cool. That's
like Metal Gear Solid, you unlock like a fucking cardboard box or like a crate.
Yeah,
and you can go up to Snake, and he's under the box, and he peeks out from under it, and he's looking at like what appears to be like an Astro Bot like porn magazine. And then he like hides back under the thing.
It's good housekeeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
better not awaken anything in me.
And then everyone like collects in their game.
Yeah.
Like
so all the Last of Us characters.
So you get all the you get all the God of War people around, and you can like make Kratos like throw his axe and freeze like Thor.
Sweet.
So there's just a lot of, I would call it very similar to like Sackboy, like Little Big Planet. There's a lot of like little goofy additions that have nothing to do with how you play the game or like the story of the game, but they're just fun.
Well, and it's nice because a lot of the collectibles and the hidden objects throughout the game, a lot of them come very organically. So it doesn't feel super grindy. It doesn't feel like you have to replay a level 5, 6, 7 times just to find certain things. And like, because each level, as you hover over top of it, you can see exactly what you found and what you're missing. So you might finish a level.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
Go, fuck, I missed one puzzle piece and one Astro Bot. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go back in and find those. And the really cool thing about it too, again, talking about respecting players' time. If you've beaten a level and you have enough coins, you can spend 200 coins at the start of the level once you've beaten it a single time. And it'll bring up like a homing beacon robot that flashes a light. So as you get close to something that you haven't unlocked yet, it'll start beeping faster and faster.
Oh,
so you still have to find it. It's not going to outright tell you where it is, but it's going to be like, you're right fucking there. Like, just
it's radar. Yeah. Like, it's just
so.
It's also nice too, because the list of bots they give you is in order of the level.
Yes.
So if you're like, okay, nice. I've got the 3rd bot and I've got the 5th bot, and I found them roughly here, if you remember, you're like, okay, this guy's got to be somewhere between these two zones.
Yeah.
So like it's super handy. It's just like, it makes it so much more approachable.
There were many times when I was playing a level and I'd be like 3/4 of the way through and I'd find a bot, and like, exactly like Trevor said, the thing would pop up and it'd be like, all right, bot number 7 you got. And I'm like, wait a second, I didn't get number 6.
I missed like
fuck.
Yeah, I missed like 3 or 4.
So rather than finishing the level, like, I will backtrack while I'm playing that level.
Yeah, that sounds like
and
you.
Like, there's no time limits. There's no panic. Like, you're not going to die from running out of time. So like, you can really just kind of play it at your own pace, which is really nice.
Yeah. Unlimited resets. Like, you die, you respawn so fast.
That's nice. I'm putting that solid state to use,
Yeah.
Well, and it's super helpful. Like, some of it I do wish was a little bit more Mario-esque with like the little damage meter. Like, I wish you could maybe take a hit or two from like, generic characters. But but you do respawn so fast. So like, it doesn't matter unless you're doing the challenge levels, which put you back at the start. And then that's the point of them, but they're secondary, right? They're not, if you're a 6-year-old kid, maybe those aren't for you.
Yeah.
But, some it's so funny. It's like Dark Souls. I was telling Jordan, it's like some of them you get first try. You're like, this is the easiest thing ever. The next one, you're like bashing your head and throwing the controller, and you're like, why can I not figure out this very basic pattern game? And
a lot of those challenge levels, as hard as they can be, if you do figure out the pattern and kind of figure it out, most of them only take about a minute to complete, maybe 2 minutes. Like they're quite fast and short, but it's the fact that they're so fucking hard that, you might spend 30 minutes just trying to beat one level because you can't die. You can't get hit once. Like it's got to be a perfect run, start to finish. But it all feels good.
Now, I think I'm gonna jump in there because Jordan, you mentioned a perfect run, and I would be remiss if we didn't have a bit of a jukebox takeover today.
Oh, okay.
Because Jordan had some like bucket list shit happen this weekend, and we need him to talk about it because I know he wants to talk about it. I got a few videos sent to me, which were
just like, Jordan crying.
Just tears and tears. Yeah.
This was his Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I would see this guy a dozen times before I would ever pay for a fucking Taylor Swift ticket. That's for sure.
Where did you go, Jordan?
Trevor, hit the jukebox.
Good enough.
Jukebox.
So my bucket list item, I finally got a chance to see Hans Zimmer live in person. It's the first time he's toured North America in over a decade. I've wanted to see him live since I was like fucking 15. Love the movies he's been a part of. Big part of my childhood, growing up watching movies like Gladiator, Interstellar, Inception, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Last Samurai, Pearl Harbor. Fuck, I mean, the list goes on and on. But like growing up watching all these movies with my family, with my dad. My fiance surprised me with tickets. We flew out to Vancouver to go see it.
If they weren't engaged already, this would be a canon event too.
This would have done it.
That's some wife material for sure. She sealed the deal. But holy fuck, man! Like, I fully expected to go into this show thinking it'd be more of like a orchestra, kind of like a
little hoity-toity.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a black tie event almost. But like legitimately his show is like going to a fucking rock concert. Like he had dueling drums. There were 2 drummers there on stage.
Nice.
They had a couple different guitarists and bass guitar guys that had fucking guitar solos throughout certain songs.
Love it.
And then, he's got the electric cello girl who is absolutely phenomenal. Like she is.
Yeah. And, it took me a second or two because like Jordan and I share like Instagram control for the podcast. And this one person kept coming up. I was like, who the fuck is this person? It's like, oh, it's the cellist for Hans Zimmer. Like, yeah, I completely know why we're following her because that was a Jordan follow.
And like she even does on her social media, she does like video game covers and like she's done Final Fantasy covers with the electric cello and stuff. And,
Okay.
Respect.
Respect.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all it takes for Daryl. You just say Final Fantasy or Legend of Dragoon.
He's
He's
in.
like,
Yeah.
I'm in.
But yeah, man,
No.
the show was incredible. It was they played 14 songs. Yeah, I sent Kyle a bunch of clips when they played the Pirates section, which was fucking incredible. Like, it was so good.
Oh God, so good.
But yeah, I teared up and got emotional probably 4 or 5 times throughout the night, just with different movies. And
How long was the concert in total?
it was probably 2 hours of just like straight playing. There was a 20-minute intermission partway through. And then they did 2 encore songs. He came back out and they did the James Bond theme song, which was super
nice.
cool.
Oh, sick.
And then after that, it looked like they were shutting it down. I looked at Linda and I was like, oh, he didn't play anything from Inception. That's too bad. And then that was the final encore song. He
Nice.
came out and played Time from Inception. And like, what a fucking perfect
Just
way
left a little dreidel spinning on, or like a little top spinning on the stage, and just walked
So that's
off.
the cool thing. It's like the front of the stage, they had a end-to-end LED screen that would lift and like move around throughout the show that they would have stuff on.
That's so cool.
And then
Metal.
the back,
It's metal as fuck.
and then the back portion of the stage was like probably a 2-story LED screen. And when they played Inception,
Oh, what?
they had the spinner. They had the spinner going on throughout that whole song at the back. But like when they played Interstellar,
That means you're in the simulation.
Basically.
That means you're in the dream.
I mean, are we?
Well, pretty much. But like when they played Interstellar, they brought a girl out and like she got strapped up to like the big string curtains and stuff, and was like doing flips in the air. And,
And then Tommy Lee came out playing drums upside down.
And it's like gyro circles.
But yeah, honestly, man, bucket list item. If anybody knows any of his songs, and like Linda maybe only knows 2 or 3 of them, but she was like, that was so much fun. She absolutely loved it. So if he ever plays in your city or like a short trip, highly recommend.
Do it.
I would go back again, guaranteed. So yeah, very cool.
It's funny how like concerts like that and music bring up such like visceral memories from, you know, when you're younger, and just like the emotion that it can evoke.
Yeah.
Like I remember, you know, there was a candlelight concert in town that my wife surprised me with last year. It was like all Linkin Park, and it was just one dude playing on a piano, and just the emotion that can overwhelm you from
Just
it.
a bunch of people on LinkedIn in a park.
Yes, exactly.
No, just a bunch of 30 to 40-year-old guys just crying while wearing all black.
When they played In the End, I was just fucking bawling.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like tearing up right now thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan, thank you for sharing that experience. I am super fucking jealous. That sounded amazing. And props to your fiance, because that is a dope fucking
Way to go,
surprise.
Yeah,
Nailed
shout
it.
out to Linda. That is wife MVP of the year right there.
Wife that shit up.
Yeah.
Let's
Gotcha.
go.
Stay tuned for the Good Enough Wedding.
Live stream.
It's a wedding episode.
It's like 10 minutes at a courthouse.
No, we're gonna
Damn.
find out.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out where it's happening, and we're just gonna like crash it from afar and live
right,
comment
bro.
the whole time.
Yeah, you guys will get a picture of us when it's all said and done, and you won't even know that it was happening.
What do I have to do this time? I've twerked. I've ripped a hole in my dress pants. What do I have to do this
Streaking.
time?
Daryl's got to go streaking.
Streaking.
We got to up
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ante
there you
every
go.
time.
Yeah.
Less and less clothing.
If it's a
every
wedding in the
time.
park, Daryl, Just Blink 182 through the.
It's fine. Whatever, you're bound to have a story. Okay, like this is. It's a staple.
That's his actual wedding gift. Is just like some ridiculous Daryl story.
You and Ben,
You're all
you
welcome.
and Bender can go streaking together through the
All right, let's go, Bender.
city.
God. Trevor, did you have a jukebox or were we just fully passing this to Jordan? All right.
No, I didn't know. I had one ready just in case.
Let's go. Let's do it.
So same thing. I got to throw this back. We're going pure nostalgia on this one. And if you haven't listened to it, there's same thing. There's orchestra versions of this on Spotify. There's the originals. We got to talk about the OG Super Mario 64.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Because that soundtrack, just like what Astro has done, was so fun and so well made that I could probably play you songs and you'd be like, I can't remember the name of the level, but I know that there was a pyramid and I was in the desert, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you know that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
right? Or like, oh, this is, from Cool Mountain. Like you might remember some of that stuff, right? So obviously for anyone of our age, go back and listen to it. It is so much fun to listen to. Like having played Astro, occasionally when I'm on Twitch, I've been watching people play like Super Mario 64 speedruns.
Oh, that's cool.
Really?
It kind of brought back that love of just like a very wholehearted platformer.
Yeah.
Right. And so it just brings a lot of that memory back. And it's just such a fun game. So
Mario
But, like,
64 was great.
Do you
ahead of
remember
its time?
Trevor, do you remember where we were when we got our N64?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
And I remember getting my ass whooped at Mario Kart for like a week
Yeah.
straight.
I will drop that penguin off.
My
the
girlfriend
cliff
is
every
currently-
fucking time. I don't give a shit.
Every time.
My girlfriend's currently painting like the bomb paintings that you like jump
Yeah.
into for the levels. It looks phenomenal. So shout out to Tiana. It looks great. I can't wait to hang it up on the wall.
That's
too.
sick.
Like I remember I played Mario 64 at my orthodontist.
Yeah.
It's like in the
Back
waiting
when
room.
make waiting rooms great again.
Yeah, like that was I was thinking about that all the time. I'm like,
Real.
man, I played N64 at the orthodontist, and then my one doctor had the Sega Genesis, like the Sega handheld,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Game Gear.
the Game Gear. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was
We
just
talked
like,
about
"Yo,
that. Yeah.
like, this is fire. This was my first time playing Sonic
what?
ever as a kid.
Smartphones killed the waiting room.
Yeah,
It did.
100%. Yeah, bring back the
Goddamn
bring back
millennials.
the all-in-one
Give me
TV
back the
station.
N64 in a bubble that you
Yes.
can't touch, but
The
the controllers are
attached
right out of
to
it.
like a rubber arm.
Locked in.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want.
give me that whole thing back.
Either this TV screen's like way too low and you're doing this, or you're doing that.
Yeah.
No,
No
in
in
between.
between.
Yeah, bring it back, people. I don't care how old we sound.
Oh.
Bring it back.
There's speaking of bring it back.
Yes.
That's this whole fucking game. Like it just the whole time I'm just like how like PlayStation, you threw a ton of money at Concord.
Oh,
You've thrown a bunch of money at
we're
Forspoken.
talking about that.
Like we're gotta bring it up. But like they showed so many characters that they own the IP rights to in this.
Where are they?
And every time you see one, you're just like, how have we like there's been a big resurgence, I would say, of like isometric games. We've got a lot of like Metroidvania style side scroll games. I'm like, why hasn't anybody brought back a 3D platformer?
Yeah.
Like they had everything in here. Like they had the Killzone guys. Like
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
there was all sorts of stuff where you're just like, fuck, I missed that game. Like Infamous.
Dude,
Yeah.
I would love a new Infamous game. I would love a new game in that franchise.
Daryl wants
It's-
a Legend of Dragoon,
I do. Like,
Just remake it.
It's just like pure nostalgia machine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
and
But
that's all it is.
but also like think about like Jack and Daxter would absolutely kill. Like it would be so good. I would
we
buy
talked
that.
about that on the Ratchet and Clank
Yeah.
episode. Like,
Jack
Yeah.
and Daxter.
So many
Jack
good
and Daxter would
IPs.
do well.
Like Jack and Daxter would capture the Fortnite generation just because it's like such a similar goofy, animated art style with like zany characters, but you get the crazy huge guns and all this other shit. It's like,
Yeah.
how does that not speak Fortnite generation? Like
Yeah, who's in a boardroom being like, nah.
Nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, there's so many.
And I think that plays it plays into it well as well. Like Jordan said, like when you get in Astro, you get to these levels where you get to play with the characters. This would probably be like one of my biggest gripes is that the levels are all linear. There's no like aside from collectibles, there's no like Metroid-esque like replay unlock stuff, which I think is where I think in some cases like Little Big Planet kind of fell off the map for some people. There's a lot of like you have to replay it, you have to do it perfect, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But with this, like there was one like there's the level you get to be Aloy and you get the bow and you get to slow down time and shoot shit with your bow, or you're Nathan Drake and you're just shooting stuff with a gun.
Yeah.
Like I would love if this game, if they did it more like the Super Mario 64, where you played through it once, you rescue Nathan Drake at the end, and then you get to replay the level with that power up and can unlock other things that you couldn't reach
like a
before.
side path.
Yeah, right.
And
like
you could do that.
Games.
You could do that with so many of these characters, right?
Yeah.
But like this is, you could do whole like universes of it. Be like, this is the God of War universe, right? And we're gonna make this very much R-rated game approachable for kids, so that when they do eventually reach the age, they're like, oh, I remember this character, but this is like way more intense.
Yeah, Kratos, the guy from Fortnite.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you dare say that. That's the worst.
I widowy hit the gwitty.
Oh Christ!
Shut your damn mouths.
Yeah.
But like, and if they're not going to use these characters in real games, I would say at least take what you've done with Astro and use them.
Yeah, totally.
It is such a love letter.
The PlayStation All-Stars Brawl.
Dude.
Not in that way. Don't use them that way. Fuck off.
You know what? I've said it on the podcast before, and I'll fucking say it again. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Bring it back. We need a sequel. It's better than you think it is, people. We don't just need
there's
Smash
just so
Bros.
many of those games.
I know there is.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Trevor's right, man. Like this is such a love letter to just not only PlayStation, which it very much leans into that. But honestly, this is a love letter to like the PS2, PS3 generations. Like to me, not, making me sound old again, but that's like peak gaming.
Well, we are
like peak gaming, peak franchises, back when they did things unique and they took a swing. Sometimes it didn't always work, but we got some weird fucking games back then because developers weren't afraid to, try something new.
No, but like Parappa the Rapper.
Conker's
What the fuck is this? What the fuck is a super monkey ball? Why is that a thing?
Do you remember the game on Super Nintendo where you were literally just a unicycle?
Yes.
Uniracers.
Yes.
Bro, that game was fire.
It was dope.
Hey, there was one of the levels in this, and Jordan will back me up on this, and I'm trying to find the characters. Loco Roco.
Yeah, Loco Roco, man.
So you're like a blob, and you're using the controllers to like roll this fuck. It's just all it's like a motion control game. But the level is like very much like baby game for babies, and you're just like, what the fuck am I playing? I was like, I don't remember this game, but apparently it was so big that it was like the end level for one of these universes. I was like, what is this?
God. What was the game with the maracas? Sorry, this is super side note. It just got me.
Was that PlayStation Move?
No, it was early.
I don't remember.
Was it PlayStation or was it Nintendo?
I can only remember the Donkey Kong drums.
Yeah.
I remember that.
There was a game where you got maracas.
I vaguely remember that, but I couldn't tell you what game it is.
Someone tell us. Comment on it. Help.
Yeah.
I'll Google it later, but
don't come Moroccan.
Yeah, but like we were talking about levels before. Honestly, I think my favorite, besides some of the challenge levels, which honestly they were hard, but I really did enjoy them. I texted Trevor about this level. Like basically, it's got a day and night cycle, and you get to certain parts of the level, and you have to step on a switch, and it'll change the day to night. But like. It completely like flips the level almost upside down, so that you can get to areas that were completely inaccessible before, but it also changes the music too. So like the nighttime's got a really nice kind of smooth melody. You could almost fall asleep to it. Like it's very
smooth jazz.
nice.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is it doesn't free your mind at night. At night.
Awful.
Bigga.
Get out of here.
I'm cutting this out. I'm cutting this out.
Okay.
That was by far, I would agree. Like that was probably one of the most creative levels.
It was just so unique.
Where they were like, hey, I think the one that blew me away first, because the Ape Escape one, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of funny or whatever. I think the one where you come to the level and there's like they're like octopus blob dudes. They just look like little slimes. And you come up and you've got Nathan Drake Bot crouched behind a rock with his gun, like panicking.
Yeah.
And he's like points to the chest, because this is all in a cinematic too. He like points to the chest and then you run up and hit the chest and you get a gun. And then it cuts into the fucking Uncharted music. And you get to start shooting things with the Uncharted gun. I was just like, no way they did this. Like, same with the God of War one as well, right? We were just like, when he like gives you, like Kratos gives you the axe and you're just like, what? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is crazy. So those two were by far the best. And then my wife had to she had to go to another room when I played the Horizon one. She's like, I don't want to spoil it for myself. Like, she just left. So she's playing through the game right now, actually.
Oh,
and it's funny because like to keep things very like child-esque, the Nathan Drake stuff, it's like you're shooting little like paintballs or like BBs out of the gun,
like the foam balls.
So
like a popper.
So they lean into that, and then like the music, a very recognizable theme, but they do like an electronic kind of remix to it. It is catchy as fuck. Like, really? Honestly, you could download the Astro Bot soundtrack and you would be vibing out to some of the songs because they're immediately recognizable, but they've just got a little bit of that remix. We're like, okay, this is sick.
Yeah. It's like the home world. It's all desert. Yeah. And it's got this like super catchy spaghetti western, like, and it's got like a little like twang sound, like boing, boing, boing. And it's just like, you're just like bopping around and you go up. And once you put parts into your PlayStation, the PlayStation parts start singing to you.
Oh god.
There's a challenge. You can get all the bots to come to you, and there's like an emote button. And if you start dancing, everyone will start dancing. I'm gonna put this clip in because I clipped it because I was laughing my ass off.
So good.
You get a bunch of Astro Bots and they all start flossing in their characters, and you're just like, this is so goofy. Or like the what was the one with the tree, Jordan? There's like a tree. He's like a rapping tree.
Yeah. He's like singing, and there's a trophy where you can actually shoot water, and you can essentially waterboard him. And if you waterboard him long enough so he can't sing, trophy pops. It's like,
oh my god.
But I would put this up there. I wouldn't say it's quite as high as like a Sackboy in terms of like music quality.
No.
Okay.
Just because Sackboy did a lot of like third party stuff where they did the
like the Bruno Mars level.
Yeah. They did. Astro does do some stuff where it's like in time to the beat of the music, but just not to the same level.
It's just
like this. This really took a lot of the learning lessons that I think PlayStation learned from trying to make Sackboy like the poster child of PlayStation for like kids. And we were just like, this is just the next generation of it. Yeah. And they really took everything they learned and did a great job with it.
Did you see, speaking of Sackboy, did you see that PlayStation is taking Little Big Planet 3 and all the DLC off of the PlayStation Store at the end of the month?
They've delisted it.
And end of an era.
So is this the death of Sackboy?
Yeah, how do you feel about that, Trev? There's like some memes around it. There's some memes around it.
Yeah, like with the Andy's toys and Toy Story.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like Sackboy, it did a really good job, but it also really limited itself because they were originally competing with like old school Mario, right? It was a side scroller, but there was a couple levels of depth. But then there was times where they forced you to have like 4 people playing at once to like unlock something.
Yeah.
and the game revolved around like, doing perfect runs and stuff like that. And it's fun and it's fucking hilarious to, dress up in these hilarious Sackboy costumes and slap somebody with a frying pan.
Yeah, hilarious. That's great.
And then like Little Big Planet 3 did that a lot where they had the different power-ups. So there's like the bird, there's like the big little lizard guy,
dog,
and something else. I can't remember.
Dog thing.
Yeah. Okay. And so there was a lot of like, it kind of started stretching into more of like a Metroid type thing, right? Side scroller, you got to go back and do all this. And then Sackboy was fantastic. But I think what hangs people up with Sackboy is because it's so isometric.
Yeah.
It plays like the very first like Super Mario 3D World from the Switch. Which is fine. It's just, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas like Astro has the free floating camera. It's just a simple single player game. Like you don't even have like a dash button. Like unless you pick up a power up, which is like, there's a couple of really fun ones. You can jump and hover and you can smack stuff. And then you can do a power up where you spin. And that is literally it. So it's like, I would say it's not even as complicated as like Super Mario 64. You've got like the backflip and the wall jumps and like stuff like that. Like it's just so straightforward.
Well, and they do such a good job with just the overall polish of the game. It is just a very tight, like if you talk about the mechanics of the game, even though it is very simple, everything is very tight and very just like in tune with what you're doing. If you're going to jump to a place and hit the hover, you know exactly how far you're going to go and you know exactly when you need to hit the button. Like there's none of this floaty stuff that a lot of platformers have where it's like you get this momentum going and it's like, oh fuck, I'm going to fall off this ledge if I don't time it right. Like this game is just, it controls very, very well. It's easy to pick up. But then the challenge levels show you like, hey, we can throw some pretty insane stuff at you. But again, if you die, it's because you fucked up. Like it's not.
If he dies, he dies.
Not because the game's janky or the controls are sticky or weird. It's like, no, if you messed up,
there's 3 buttons.
If you messed up, it was on you, not the game. So it's good for that.
So do we have any before we go to ratings? I mean, it'll be pretty easy there, but do we have any gripes or anything? Is there anything that you wish there was changed, different, more of?
How can the team of Astro Bot create 12 incredible controllers?
I was waiting for this.
PlayStation cannot implement, like, except for the collectible, which is like what you start with as a. I like it. It made me like angry. Like I texted you guys about this. I was like, there's a thing where you get to customize your little, because you fly off the controller to end the levels. Yeah. And it's to your color or whatever, but it's just like, how is it that there's more color options here? I mean, it's easier to just change a shader. But look how great these all look.
Yeah, every single one of them. I would buy every one of them.
The best one opportunity. If anyone has seen the what the fuck LeBron James edition PlayStation controller with like the bad graffiti on it, so they made a version like that. It's all black, but the graffiti on it is Astro Bots dressed as like PlayStation characters.
Oh, that's amazing! As
the front skin.
Take all my money.
Unreal. It like as soon as I saw it, I was like, how does this not exist? Yeah.
That's an easy sell. That should be an easy sell.
And the other really good one was they do a lot of stuff with like the inserts. Yeah. So the one was like a color, but then the inserts were the like metallic blue purple color, which is like the new color coming out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's just like the little pieces that run up the inside of the controller. It was just like, guys, why, get these people on your fucking marketing department and get them
No doubt.
That drove me nuts. Aside from that, like I'm looking forward to the DLC. I think
there's DLC.
They announced it a while ago. They're adding something. I think this is just another case of this is viable. This did so well. Give me more of it, but like change it up. Like I was saying, right? Like make levels where it's not just linear. Because sometimes it's like, it'd be cool to like have a world to explore and do stuff like that. But other than that, like, or maybe like a dash button would have been nice sometimes.
Yeah.
Been a fun mechanic to have, just a circle dodge of some kind. But aside from that, honestly, I really enjoyed the experience, and like all the power-ups were just so funny.
Yeah, like there's really no major complaints or negatives. It's just small gripes. You know, it's hard to really fault much of what they're doing. I mean, you know, selfishly, I would just like more of what they gave us. Like, you know, I would have loved another galaxy or two to explore and to see, you know, some of the other themed levels that they could have come up with for different characters. Like those were, they were all highlights. Even if you weren't very familiar with the characters or the franchise, they were just so fun and creative. It's like, fuck, give me more of those. Like they were fantastic.
Yeah. I would say the only other thing is like to Mario, you need a Bowser.
Yeah.
They need a better bad guy.
I agree.
Like I had to look up what this guy's name was. He honestly, like if for Kyle and Daryl, I don't know if you'll remember this movie. He looks like one of the little egg looking aliens from Jimmy Neutron. That's he's just a
yeah, he does.
he's just a green slime on like a UFO.
Yeah.
I'm glad Jordan was.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's lame.
And it just like that was the only thing to me. I was like, oh, like I wish we had like a true bad guy. And that's also where I wish we could, you know, you could take a bit of damage because some of the enemies technically don't hurt you. They just like headbutt into you over and over again.
Yeah.
And then other guys kill you instantly. So it's just
weird.
Yeah, better.
It's just those little mechanics where it's like
a better boss and then also, or a better like villain, but also a better finishing level. Like the final level where you fight him, like you're all flying in space, and it just so many of the inventive like power-ups and inventive parts of the levels are completely non-used in the final battle. And it's like, man, it would have been really cool to be able to like use this power-up against him, or, you know, it'd be sweet to like, oh, I got to recruit Aloy and Nathan Drake, and then I get those power-ups to, you know, do damage to him for a couple seconds. Like it felt a little rushed, I guess. At the
felt like a montage. Yeah. We beat him with the power of friendship.
Basically.
Of nostalgia.
Yeah. Power of nostalgia. Just throw a PS1 controller at him.
That would actually be kind of dope.
Just throwing memory cards.
I mean, same thing. Just the throwbacks. So the loading in this game, it's an old PlayStation
memory card
drive. If you have to do like a plug across a wire, the wire plugs into whatever wall you're in. It's the old PlayStation controller plug-ins. Like
I saw that in the clips, and I was like,
the littlest things.
Attention to detail. Like, yeah. I will say that as you unlock like the gacha pods and stuff, you do unlock skins for your Astro Bot as well.
Oh yes.
And a lot of them are just like some of the famous characters that you rescue throughout the game. Shout out for them allowing you to dress as the hunter in Bloodborne.
That's what that was such a weird choice.
Chef's kiss. I could play the last half of my game as the hunter from Bloodborne, which was just the best. On the flip side of that, where the fuck is Bloodborne Remaster or Bloodborne 2 PlayStation? Come on.
Okay,
I know we've heard it, but I'm saying it again.
Everyone just wants a Horizon remaster.
Yeah, let's remaster Horizon.
Out of here with that.
Yeah.
3-year-old game.
Actually, you know what? I think we need to remaster The Last of Us again.
I think Astro needs a remaster.
Yeah. Astro
Pro.
Astro needs a remaster, and then probably God of War Ragnarok. I think needs a remaster.
Yeah. It's good.
The Last of Us. Kyle, God, it's the remaster.
So
yeah.
PS5 Pro edition of Skyrim is coming.
Yeah, we're getting into Skyrim and GTA territory. Yeah. Oh my god.
But can it calculate?
Okay, so since Trevor and Jordan are the only ones that played it,
Score it.
Go, Trev.
If you know what you're getting into, like you're not expecting some glorious 100-hour Final Fantasy game, and you were like, I want to play a platformer, I want to just have a really fun time. 16 hours, I got the platinum, had fun running around. 10 out of 10, easy buy.
Wow.
If you can get it on sale, if you want to wait, that's fine. But like, this is a game that I would recommend like Kyle get and hold on to for when his kids are ready to play something like this.
I'm waiting for it to go on
it's
sale.
like, it feels like a great way to be able to teach your kids about your favorite characters, to be like, oh, that's Jack and Daxter. Oh my gosh, that's Nathan Drake. One day we'll get to play that, or I'll be able to actually tell you about that game. But it's so cool, right? Or like, oh, those are people from Resident Evil. Like, just
all the things.
All of that just wrapped into one, and it just covers so many bases of like what you might like about PlayStation. And pure PlayStation propaganda.
Yeah, just a love letter to PlayStation.
Just the joy of gaming. Is what it's about. Yeah.
I just want to see Dark.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, you'll love it.
So give me a score, Trevor.
Oh, I said 10. Easy 10.
You said 10. Yeah.
Easy 10.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, for me, it's like not easy 9 out of 10. I agree with most of what Trevor said. Selfishly, I would have just liked a little bit more of what we got. The story ends a little bit quicker than I'd like it to. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like to me, this is the perfect game to introduce young family and young kids into video games. Because it's easily accessible, but it's got all of the perfect little things to just catch your imagination, and like the haptics on the controller, all the different skins and the flashy colors and the music,
the fun sounds, the adorably fun sounds.
Exactly.
Except I swear there is one where it sounds like Astro says "fuck yeah" when you load into a level. He makes this cute like "ha ha," and then like at the start of a level, and I'm gonna put it in the episode. And sometimes I hear him be like "fuck yeah," like, yeah, that's right, Astro.
You get it, Astro.
Yeah, that's right, buddy. That's right, buddy. You get it.
Yeah, but highly recommend for anybody that loves platformers or wants to take it back old school and kind of relive like the old Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario 64 days. This is the new kind of evolution of those. It's that good. Honestly, it's that good.
Yep.
Right on.
Amazing. Well, folks, thank you once again for tuning in for another episode of the Good Enough Gaming Podcast. We appreciate your patronage. We appreciate your Astro Bot. I'm kind of sad you didn't just like wear it on your head.
I was trying to. It didn't work.
Tune in next week for another wonderful journey through some battles of sorts.
Oh my lord!
Through space and
Let's
time?
wrap this up.
It should. All right, I think that was good enough.
It's good enough.
Good. Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah, good enough.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more content. We also invite you to write an email or join us on Discord to talk about anything from our episodes or something else you would like to discuss in the future. Please subscribe to the Good Enough Gaming Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. And remember, we might not be great, but we are good enough.